Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan, and that is off sync just enough to annoy me. There we go. That is better. Tune seem a bit extra groovy. I'll take it. It's an extra groovy day. But it's good to see you, Badrox. Good to see you, Kit. And Kit, congratulations on claiming the crown of Firstendom, crown of finales as we aim to wrap up Chrono Trigger today. That's right. We're actually going to do it. Going to push through. Going to defeat the evil Lavos, this giant beast. We will win the day. So I hope everyone's doing well and having a good day. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Sure. You seem so thrilled. Yeah, I hope everyone had a good weekend. It's my last weekend before vacation starts on Friday. Very excited about that. I will miss y'all while I'm on it, but it's also good to take a break. But before we dive in, I want to say thank you and welcome to Father Davian and Bobby Light. Welcome to the channel. Good to have both of you here. Sure. Yep. And also, just a bit of housekeeping. Vacation work from boat. Exactly. Look, if I only have to say a few masses, it's not that much work. Anyway, piece of housekeeping. I've decided, in light of what happened last week, to discontinue bits for candy at this time. I do thank all of you who have donated bits and for your generosity, but I will be discontinuing that as a monetary thing. But don't worry, it's still going on because now there's a channel point redeem to make me spin the wheel. So the candy is still there, and in fact is now free. And Brayherd Lord has not wasted any time. Good to see you, Brayherd. Does it have a cooldown? No, I figured more expensive. Oh, that was a close one. I figured in honor of the original candy thing, no cooldown. Plus, it's 20,000 points, so I feel like it's safe for the most part. I say that now. Oh, these are congealing together. Whoa. It's just got a weird bitterness. Anyway, let's dive in. Whoa. Okay, so last time we failed to defeat Queen Zeal, and I know what to do different this time. On her third form. The burning sensation in my throat. Behold, my pretty's destiny in its most brutal form. Candy makes it hard to voice act. All the dreams that might have been, all the happiness, the sorrow you might have experienced, gone forever. For you, there will be no tomorrow. The Dark One transcends time and space, waiting for Lavos to awaken. Destiny has led you here. And here you shall rest forever, unless you can defeat me and smash the omen. Okay. Come, dear friends. Perhaps I can persuade Lavos to share his dreams with you. Did I say dreams? I meant his eternal nightmare. Okay, Queen Zeal. Oh, that's not the move I thought I was doing. I was not paying attention. I wanted to do the one where he, like... Because I thought Spin Cut was the one where he spins around. Heaven forbid I think that. No, that's called Confuse. Dear Queen Zeal, please quit reducing my life total to 1. It's really just more obnoxious. I'm gonna use a Lapis here. I've got so many of them. Why not augment Robo's healing? I also love how minimalist this track is. He does such a good job of just capturing the ethos. Hey, that's Form 1 done. Ah, my powers don't seem to work here. Wait, I'll simply toss you into the Mammon Machine. You'll be one with the Omen, Lavos, and me. Can I not? I'd prefer not. I don't remember what this fight is. Even though I just did it 2 weeks ago. Oh, right, it's this one where you kind of, like, need to change between physical and magic. You vote no to it as well? That's good. Rude. The Mammoth machine stands still. That's not a good sign. Anytime a JRPG boss just goes, I will sit here, you're in for a beating. Yeah, huh? Modifies its energy. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, we're back to this cycle. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep doing that anyway. Okay, now it was this fight that we lost on, and I think one of the things is if you do an attack all thing, it was... she had a counterattack, if I remember correctly. So... well, we got the Mammon machine. So now we're fighting Queen Zeal Form 2. You cretins. I plan to live with Lavos and control the universe forever. You will not get in my way. Indulge in such regrets in the next life. So I'm thinking I need to start in on the hands, with just basic physical attacks. Nope, okay. That was a bad idea. Yeah, because now I'm stuck in this cycle where all I'm going to be doing is revive and... not my best showing. Yes, yes, yes. Sorrow, woe, forever, gone, yes, death, uh-huh. So I think this next time what I'm going to do is not just rush in with everyone guns blazing, but kind of let things play out one by one. Can't set my life total to 1 if it's already at 1. Yes, yes, yes. You'll make me face the Mammon Machine. Can't even save after the boss. No, this is a 3-wave boss. You have to be able to fight all of them, all 3 parts in order to pass. But I can take this time to also prep. Because I can... give out some ethers and things. That only did 9. That seems way lower than it should. So 3D looking in 1994. Oh, graphics are mind-blowing. think I also need to apply barriers to my heroes here in this coming fight. I think that might also help protect them against the lightning. I will say the artwork here is so good. The design of the arena on top of the Black Omen with the planet rotating underneath. Just, 10 out of 10. Yeah, see, that, like, halves the damage on one of those lightning things. So I think that's the tech. Ignore the hands, just go for the face. That's not a hexagon, that's a Star of David. Those are different things. That's not how shapes work. I think out of context, it's just called a 6-pointed star. That's fair. My general context, though. Yeah, my line of work, that's where my mind goes. Rude? Not so rude. Yeah, this really is just a boss fight of knowing how to protect yourself. Well, good to know she still has that. Oh, that's just MP Buster, that's fine. She has such fancy hands, too. Look at her nails. She had them did just for the occasion. I will crush my enemies and look great doing so. Her eyebrows? Yeah. Well, I think that's a mask. I think. It's hard to tell sometimes in pixel art. But, you know, that's also dedication. If you're going to have eyebrows built into your mask... She done had him dead. Hey! We defeated her. Dare you insects come after me? Almighty Lavos, lend me your power! At last Lavos awakens. Compared with him, you are like germs. But I shall obtain immortality. Okay. Okay, crazy maniacal lady, you have fun. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, we just get dropped. I don't even get a... All right. Lavos, it's the rematch time. Lavos enters attack mode. So the gimmick of outer Lavos, because yeah, we'll go inside, we'll fight Lavos there too, is that... Oh, sweet. It doesn't drop you right into the fight. It's gonna give us a moment we can actually, like... use items and things. We can't save. That might be too much to ask, but we can use no save. So yeah, this final bit's a bit of a slog, but we were able to heal, so you can actually, you know, we could actually restore everything. But the gimmick is, as you saw, all the old bosses, Lavos kind of re-embodies those, and we have to defeat them one by one. Now, admittedly, we're so high level that the early bosses are, you know, 1 or 2 hits. And it shows you which one you're fighting so that you can remember the attack pattern. Okay, Hakrin. So this is why it's good that it shows you, because Hakrin is only weak to magic attacks. And we get this wonderfully appropriate dramatic music. Okay, so this is the bone guy from the bridge. Rude. Masa Imune. Okay. There was no special gimmick with that one, just they were buff. Let's use a couple mid-ethers here on Robo. Lavos is now... Oh, the dinosaur. Okay. So that means we need to use lightning first. Ones should be doing pretty good on health and MP. I think this means we're going to have to fight the Tyrannosaurus Rex again. I think that's next. Is it? No. That's later. What's the order here? Well, we'll find out, I guess. Oh, Magus! Right. So we'll need to hit first with Frog. That will weaken Lavos's, or, well, yeah, Lavos's defense, but Magus's defense. Okay, lightning. That's a good barrier for me, actually. I really like this final boss design in many ways. I think it's a really interesting way of honoring the journey that your heroes have gone on, and also... what's the best way to put it? Like, challenging your strategies, like making sure you know how to play the game, how you know to beat every boss in combat. There we go. Now it's the T-Rex. It is a recap of the game. Wait a minute, it's a clip show. But I think it shows a really cool... Because, like, I think the implication story-wise is that Lavos has this connection throughout time and is a somewhat timeless being. And so it's using the things that have challenged you to defend itself. And the fact that all the previous bosses that you have to refight here don't have increased stats. Like, they are the same difficulty they were when you first faced them. I think makes it more makes it more doable. Because, like, that first couple of bosses were all increased in power. It'd just be such a slog, you know? But here I am fighting this thing, and it's like, okay, yeah, this was a threat, but I'm stronger now. I do a lot more damage. I can beat it faster. I don't have to worry about its attacks. And you can actually get a, early words. Yeah, well... You can actually basically get a spoiler of all the bosses if you're good enough at the game. Because you can fight Lavos basically from the beginning. And you can go and you can fight all the different... It will just be the same fight. You know, it will let you face off against all these bosses. Oh, this thing. Yes, this thing was a problem. Can I change party here? Oh, I can. That's actually pretty big to be able to change party. I don't think I'm going to, but that's cool to know. No one's really hurt. It's pretty good on everything, so... Ultimate damage. It did, like, 15 on me. But yeah, this was the boss we fought in 12,000 BC. So, more recent. For our chronology of how we've experienced things. Definitely not more recent in the overall story, I guess. Man, games about time travel are confusing. "12,000 BC was just a while ago." Exactly! It was like it was yesterday. I think we're actually fighting... If I recall, I think we actually went to the Black Omen in 12,000, so I think we are... Yeah, to God. Absolutely. I mean, 1,000 days are like a day. 1,000 years are like a day, and a day is like 1,000 years for God, so... Bit of a non-starter, really. But I think we actually are in 12,000 BC, because I think that's when we entered the Black Omen. Because I think that made the most sense for the story to try and defeat it when at its earliest. Hey! We beat the boss rush. Now we just have to fight Lavos. Save? Where? There is no save point. If I go here, it won't let me. Speaking of sound effects, I also added one to the soundboard. I can now trigger all the former emo kids in a single note. You'll help. Yay! Swolliel's here to help. Mean. I knew you would know it, Roxy. I figure several others, I figure Mel and I know Step Zero will know it. But yeah, I can just reach over to my soundboard anytime and just go, just click a thing and let that note ring out. Maybe I should have healed Frog there, but he's at 660. Oh, and also the fight's over. Oh, meat mess, and it's even liturgically appropriate. We were successful. Will there never be an end? This be the only armor. This be only armor. 'Tis what's inside that must be destroyed. Now we can save. So that's 3 forms for Queen Zeal. So what, the dragon tank, the robot thing, Hakrin, the skeleton thing, Masamune, Dinosaur 1, Dinosaur 2, Magus, I think I'm missing one other, so I'm just going to count it. And then an outside form of Blavos. That is 13 boss fights you have to go through to get to this point, essentially. It is a real gauntlet. Oh, 'tis creepy. It's worse than Magus's place. According to my sensors, we are close to the center. You can also leave anytime you want, but now we can save. Listen to the music. It's Lavos' heartbeat. Did we mention this artwork was done by Akira Toriyama? Amazing. It houses all the DNA of every creature that ever lived. Cyrus, this be our finest battle. Doors of Doom open. No, you can leave those Doors of Doom closed. Doesn't it mean it has their DNA as well? Well, except for Robo, I guess. Of course, I feel like Chrono and Frog wouldn't know what DNA is. You know, here's Frog being like, oh, it has all the... Or Robo being like, oh, it has all the DNA. And they're both like, what's a DNA? It's a good thing it's not just DNA that you need to win a battle. Joke's on you, I came prepared this time. So I think the core might get weaker when the arms are gone. Because I'm doing a lot of damage to the arms with Luminaire, but not that much to the core. There we go. That's one arm down. It's Swoliel's cousin. Yes, his evil cousin. How's that right arm, or left arm, I guess? Left arm not defeated yet? No! Don't take away my barrier. I need that. Oh, it didn't. Okay, weird. There we go. Oh no, Frog is confused. This is bad news. Yeah, look at that. Now the core took 1,600 damage. Yes, Shadow Slay. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but I'm going to do a Frog Squash because it's funny. And we haven't seen one yet this whole game. It does more damage when you're at lower health. Ha! Get frogged. Evil elimination. Have you considered not being evil, Lavos? Just a thought to consider. So for those keeping score at home, this is boss number 14 in this immediate range of bosses. And no, this is not the final form, because why would it be? Yo, that's just Frieza. Yeah, Akira Toriyama did the artwork. Hey, Gale, listen to this. Flame battle. Such a cool sounding attack. Man, is it weak. Is that Eco Badumching? No, it's the high G from the start of Welcome to the Black Parade. Don't worry, Badumtish is still there. Oh. Frieza turned into Cell. This was Lavos' goal, using the DNA of every organism and achieving the ultimate in evolution. Attack value is off the scale. One might say it's over 9,000. It's shorting out my sensors. It is too much to bear. We have been reared like animals. Our lives have been for naught. Human hands created me, which means I am a product of that thing. I am no different than Luca and the others. I am part of all living things. My life retaineth its meaning. We haveth our own will. Well said, Frog. This is the final boss. So go ahead, use all of my healing stuff right now. Figure it's the last fight. Gotta save those Mega Elixirs. What if you need them? I do need them. I need them now so I can defeat this thing. Oh dear, that one is immune to magic. It's okay. The core can get healed. Time warp. Let's do it again. Okay, now we can switch to magic. Oh, the mode 7. Look out, I'm using another Mega Elixir Gale. Dang it. This one on the right has taken a lot of damage and is still here. It's doing me a heckin' concern. Hello? How did I defeat the center one before I defeated the little thing on the right? I'm very confused. Yeah, Lavos Core should be defended. There is no Lavos Core. I feel like something's gone wrong. Ah, there it is. There it is. Gotta say, this track, combined with headphones, is pretty sweet. They did a great job with panning the audio. Active life decreases power. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, that's a horrible noise. Ultimate physics damage. Oh no, it was a giant rock. Yeah, I get you revived that Lavos bit. That's fine. Am I supposed to be taking these out in a correct order? Is that what I'm missing? Oh! Let's just do enough damage. I done did it indeed. Chrono? It's just like how the game started. Chrono? Chrono! It's time to rise and shine. We have a little surprise for you. Why is there a soldier in my bedroom? Your stay of execution has been cancelled. We must now carry out your sentence. I'm sorry, what? We've been looking for you, Chrono. Where did you take my daughter? Daddy, don't. Chrono hasn't done a thing. She says Chrono has been a perfect gentleman, but what do you think, Chancellor? Chrono's deeds have had an enormous impact on the kingdom. Chancellor, how could you? Please, just listen to me. We had to save the future, right? Huh? Who saved the future and gave us hope? Oh no, we're messing with the timeline something bad. Who fought Magus's troops and brought peace to the kingdom in the year 600. Chrono beat reptites. What's going on here? Luca, you brought them here, didn't you? You little rapscallion messing with timelines. Your kinsman told me all about your incredible mission. Kinsman? You mean these are my ancestors? Yeah, descendants? Yep, you're descended from cave people. Here I was, fussing about my kingdom and my daughter, and you were saving past, present, and future. Now, for a true victory parade. Tonight we celebrate you. Now, Marl, go out and enjoy the last night of the fair. Yay! Come along with Chrono, our hero. Princess Nadia is finally home. At last, Guardia is back to normal. It's a moonlight parade! It's a really small parade. Low budget. I just saved the world and all the timelines, and this is the parade they give me? Like, I know cars haven't been invented yet, but, like, we could go get one from the future. We've proven that we don't care about, you know, honoring the timelines and history and stuff, so... Who knows? Maybe culturally this is a really big deal of how they do it. Oh, hey, we're controlling Marvel. Not much business in weapons anymore, but I like it that way. Yum, lemonade. It sure tastes great outdoors. Chrono, have a sip. You're my hero. You're the hero of the day. What a dreamy night. Thank you, darling. Chrono, the king says you save the future. Wait till I tell my friends. Yeah, beats being executed, I guess. Well, everyone, this is it. Each to thine time. The gate has grown weak. We've got to say our goodbyes before the gate closes. You're all leaving? Chrono was strong. Marl too. Ayla have fun. You're my distant ancestor, so you better have tough kids or I'll be in trouble. No worry, Ayla very strong. Right. Hey, what do you mean by that? Kino dummy, we go now. It means you were traveling with your ancient ancestor this whole time. "'Tis a feisty crowd, but they are thine kin, and 'tis of consequence. Queen Lean awaits, your majesty. We too shall take our leave." Mr. Frog. "Long farewells now when necessary." Right. Besides, actions speak louder than words. Yeah, don't these things end with the princess kissing the frog? Not in the original, but anyway. So, you're going to search for Shala? Bye! Luca, I will miss you. What's wrong, Luca? Aren't you going to say goodbye to Robo? She knows. Knows what? Robo was born in a bleak future. When we defeated Lavos, we changed history. Robo may not exist in the future. Haha, please relax. The new future has a place for me. Alright, Robo, don't pretend you don't care when you're really sad. It just makes things worse. Luca, you have taught me these emotions. Thank you. Tears don't become you, Luca. Robo will be there in the new future. Goodbye. Caution, oil has washed over my sight sensors. Sight diminished. Oh, he's crying oil. You can't see. Do you remember that talk we had? About whether our lives flash by before we die? Yeah. I got the feeling that the entity is finally at rest. Yeah, I feel that too. Time travel. How exhausting. We should dismantle the epic. Its job is finished. Kitty? You naughty thing, come back here. Look, Chrono, your cat's running away because you haven't been feeding it. I didn't know I even had a cat. Hey, come back here. Mom, no! Oh, great, Chrono, that gate will never open again. Well, looks like we have no choice but to go after them. We're after them, but the gates? Good, don't turn off your brain yet. I forgot, we have a time machine! Oh, Princess, the king asked for your presence. I'm so happy. Now there's no reason for you to go away anymore. I have a gift for you to commemorate this day, Princess Nadia. This is Nadia's bell. It will ring out across the land. Marl, where did you go? Could you please lend me a hand? Oh, Daddy, I hate to say this, but I can't sit around and do nothing. Phew. Hey, just in time. Shall I fire one off? No, Tabin. Actually, I could really use a hand. Tabin, no. Tabin, yes! So that's actually the most common ending, because you have that pet cat and you're supposed to feed it, but you have to do a minigame to get the food, and it's... honestly, I mostly forgot until then, but the implication is that you get the time machine, you find your mom and cat, and save the day. But that is Chrono Trigger. Time-traveling adventure extraordinaire. I think it's a great classic tale in many ways, honestly. It is just kind of the classic heroes save the day tale. Like, it's not super in-depth, but it does raise some interesting philosophical questions, especially with, like, changing the past and trying to do that. And, oh, look! Robo in the future is okay with his girlfriend. You know, I think Magus has an interesting arc going from villain to anti-hero. Frog, you know, seeks redemption, and initially that starts out as seeking freedom from his form, but becomes, you know, just being able to be part of society again. Nadia gets accepted. Marl, Nadia, gets accepted by her dad. He even calls her Marl. Like, that's such a nice little touch in that scene in the throne room at the end there. He calls her Marl, not Princess Nadia. Rotda. So, today's gospel is great because Jesus is like, the Pharisees are like, hey, where is it Kingdom Hearts time? We'll save Kingdom Hearts for next RPG Monday, which won't be until the new year, actually. But in the gospel today, the Pharisees are like, where does your authority come from? Jesus is like, okay, I will tell you if you answer a question for me. And they know the answers, and they realize they are stuck and trapped, and they still try to play dumb. And Jesus is like, I can't help you guys if you're not going to be open and honest and either accept what is or accept that you need to change. I can't help you. And that's, you know, a reality of change is we need to be able to admit our faults and our weaknesses and recognize the good around us that we haven't been letting in and say, okay, how does this change me? Donkey Kong? Maybe. I might just wrap up early. What do y'all want? Do you want me to switch over to something else? I won't switch over to Kingdom Hearts 2. We'll save that as something to start fresh with in the new year. But I can switch over to another Super Nintendo game or something else. Or we could just wrap up early or take a break, have a sandwich. I had lunch. I don't need a sandwich. It's true, you did not get the Putt-Putt or Freddy the Fish. Freddy. The end. Chrono Trigger. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is... Short game's good for Phil. It's true. I think what we're going to do is go to a commercial break, because it's around when we would do that anyway for this stream. And when we come back, we will switch over to something else. So... there's the music box theme. So, hang on tight. We'll be right back. All right. No, we're not quite back, actually. The ad break's still going. There we go. Now the ad break should be over. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Assuming my keyboard wakes up, there it goes. So 3 options. Well, 4 options. 1, just wrap up. 2, do a Freddy Fish game. Minecraft, or a just random Super Nintendo game, maybe more Donkey Kong Country 2 or something. What y'all think? Got 1 vote for both Freddy or Minecraft. That was what I was thinking too. Actually, was switching over to Minecraft. Oh yeah, you noticed it was missing something too? I noticed that when we got the cards. Poor Alethea, she felt so bad about that. So what I think I kind of want to work on today, we'll save the market for the actual normal Minecraft stream, but I think for right now, I want to work on the courtyard. So we need to fill it in with dirt. Oh well, next year. Well, there's also last year's. Last year's had my signature. But yes, that's not some sort of intentional trying to leave me on the sidelines kind of a thing. It was a genuine mistake. Yeah, we'll leave that torch in there. That'll prevent things from spawning in there. No, it was not an evil plot. I will leave most of this hollow, I think, just because it's easier. But I kind of wanted to start working on the design of the 4 medallions. I was thinking of using amethyst, actually, for them. Semi-forgetful plot. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd even call it a plot. It was a mistake. These things happen. And we give people the grace to make them. What? You know, given that this is a church courtyard, maybe the fountain in the middle should have bells on it. From cabin pressure. Ah, right. So this is the center where the fountain will go. Down some torches so that nothing spawns here overnight. I'll probably try to put in like a lantern or something here in the square. Like around the edges. I think that'd look cool. Hold on, sorry. say I don't have a sick coworker. I'm not gonna say who it is, 'cause I don't wanna dox or anything, but keep my coworkers in your prayers for their health. Truly, this is the most thrilling of gameplay you've come to expect from the Let Us Play experience. That's my last stack of dirt. I'm not gonna have enough. That's okay, this will give us enough of a range to start in on the fountain. So close, though. Okay, so let's go get some materials. I don't have a circle chart next to me right now, so I don't want to make the fountain in full, but maybe I'll try to make an arc. I'm just going to block it off with the deep slate. This is not necessarily its final look. So if I want it to be... So kind of looking down at the plaza. I want the fountain to be centered, and so what I'm thinking is essentially there'll be a... Maybe I'll switch to creative mode for this, actually. So you can see my... So think of it kind of like that there will be a circle for the fountain, and then connecting from here to the fountain will be an inlay of another circle, and then I'll kind of do some designs in the 4 arcs as well. So I need to figure out how big of a circle I want that portion to be. But in order to figure that out, I need to figure out how large I want the fountain to be. So I'm now thinking kind of the central column where the water will be coming out from, and it has to be even because this is the whole footprint here is even. If I try to do an odd one, it will be off-centered. Put stations out there, I could. So I'm kind of thinking the design that I would want... I guess I could work off of a 2x2 base. And then have a 4x4 top of the fountain. Because that would enable me to have corners sort of on the edge with the water flowing between them. So this fountain... Where is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seems like a good distance to me. 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would make the fountain 16 wide. Actually, it would make it 16 wide because it's 9, so it'd be 18 wide. Okay, so that's roughly how big the fountain would be. Yeah, 16 plus my center, so 18. I feel like that's gonna make the medallions too big. I'm gonna make it... I'm gonna push it out by 2. The shadow is growing, it is. Evening draws near. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty large basin, but I don't hate that. You know, I guess there's nothing stopping me from just doing like the 4 smaller medallions and then one large medallion with the fountain at the center. I think I kind of like that idea more. Don't think I can fit another ring? Disagree, but... Because I think if I make the fountain maybe only this big... Because I think if the basin is this... like this wide, it's gonna just feel so occupying. So I think... Yeah, I think I like that. I like the idea of that being the fountain, and then like having this ring where these 4 pieces are be a large medallion, and then a small medallion connected at each of them. Too early still. I think I have some amethyst lying around. The construction tower over here. They're probably not nearly enough. Yeah, I only have 7 pieces, so I'll have to get some more. That is easily done. I'm gonna fly there just because I know I have found an amethyst geode in my base before, but remembering which cavern to turn down and where can be a pain. So it's easier just to do this, because there it is. This is actually good because I kind of want to use, what is this, calcite? Yeah, I thought some calcite in the tilings might also look cool on the medallions. Fell down a hole. Let's just fix that problem right now. That should definitely be enough amethyst for now. It may not be enough calcite, but we can fix that later. Go that way to the door, so that this is the way to the back to the church. Okay. So how wide is this section? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 wide. Okay. It's the same size as this thing. That's actually kind of perfect. It's the same size as the fountain. Which, A, means it's very easy to figure out how to place everything, but B, I kind of like the symmetry that will create. The amethyst blocks are very musical. Come back to that one in a moment. And that will get covered up. So it goes there. Space is this. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything's kind of like perfect sets of 8. There we go. Then kind of one big circle of 16. So what kind of design do I want in these medallions? Probably just a simple cross, honestly, just given Minecraft's limitations and the size limitations. Like, it would be cool to do something representing the 4 Gospels, but I don't think I have enough pixel room to depict the 4 beasts. It's coming together. Then have something in each of these spots. Question is what? Do I do it at the same in each corner? Does each medallion get its own thing? Does each corner get its own thing? An Advent wreath, it is in a sense. I'm gonna pop into creative to look at options. See, I think something like concrete might be too bright and too textureless. And the glazed terracotta is too textured. You know what might work? It would be a block of redstone, actually. Let's see how this looks. I will remove these if I like it, because I do like... Is that too much? Is that too bright? Hey, Mithril, good to see ya. That might be too much. Looks like a helicopter hospital pad. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking now, actually. What does this actually look like? At least. Nope. I could just go with like a polished deep slate. I need to go to bed first. Oh, there's zombies spawning up there. That's a problem. Can I put a white in each corner to soften the cross? Which corner do you mean? Like, in here? Inner corner? So like that? Could. I kind of like the sharpness, though. No, I don't. I don't like that unless I'm gonna do. Something like that. But then I've just made a series of concentric rings. What is being built here? Hey, Beer Fox, we are working on the courtyard for the church. We're trying to figure out how we want to decorate these cross medallions in the courtyard. So right now I'm working in creative, just kind of looking at the palette, but everything will be mined the good old-fashioned way and used. Maybe block of lapis lazuli? So right now I'm kind of placing out my options. You know. would be a good... What do you like? Oh, we already have a blue. A yellow, I guess. Orange. Oh, that is bright in this texture pack. Could do a Notre Dame homage. Oh, look, Goth! Yeah, it is the Goth colors. I didn't even think of that. I think that's too bright. I like the brightness of the purple here, because that does play off the windows, but I think everything else is too bright. How about black shiny? Well, I tried that with the polished deep slate, but I didn't like how it looked. Obsidian or another block? Obsidian. I hadn't considered obsidian. That's blackstone. Block of coal. Block of coal might work. Because that has some interesting texture to it. Can I get Crying Obsidian? In the right places I can. I kind of like the coal, actually. I think the Obsidian's too purple to work with it. Yeah, but I'm kind of trying to go for more of a contrast here between the purple and the white. That's why I think the coal... And I like that up close it does have texture. Yeah, Crying is even more purple. I kind of like the coal. And keep in mind, this itself will be wrapped in something, and, you know, because we're going to fill all... We'll have another main circle here. And then kind of in the same way we filled in the outer edge, we can do with the others as well. Have I tried basalt? Look at regular basalt and smooth basalt. I don't think polished will work, but we can take a look at it. Put that back in my inventory first. I can definitely get this. I found plenty of it in the nether. Is this the smooth? Yeah. Okay, so the smooth is the same on every side no matter what. Yeah, I think coal's the winner here too. So I'll leave this corner as coal as just like a self-reminder for now. Because the downside of coal is I don't actually have a lot of it. We kind of used a lot to build the church. The dark stone I think of as blackstone, but coal maybe that close. Yeah, and blackstone I think might be even harder to get. Be bad and Santa will help you stay warm. Be bad, Santa will help you commit arson. Dear kids, don't commit arson, especially not at Christmas. Can you make coal blocks from charcoal? I don't think so. I think it has to be, yeah, it has to be actual coal. You ordered coal as a Christmas gift. What are you, filtering your air with a carbon filter? Looked at multiple houses with coal chutes. My house! The house I'm in right now, you can still see the remnants of its coal chute. We did ultimately remove it because it was kind of drafty, but... And also, you know, inefficient, expensive, and producing a lot of CO2. But you can still see it. You need new carbon filters for your washlet. That's a sentence. I need to look up its circle generator. Have that ready on Wednesday to be able to fill this in if I want. Or potentially, I think Wednesday we'll probably actually return to the market. Keep that as the main thing for midweek Minecraft. Go descend into the mines for a bit, see if we can find some coal. You have a history of giving your sister joke gifts, as is right and just. I need to make a note. Sorry. I just remembered a thing I need to do before I travel. The children yearn for the mines. Please, Papa, can we play in the asbestos mine today? We've been ever so good. Nailed it. Okay, I think I want to double check. Yes. Fortune, yes. This way I can get a few extra pieces of coal. You know, my mom once gave my dad coal for Christmas. It was coal from the Titanic, but it was coal. I want some of that moon coal. I don't think you're going to be able to... I don't think there is such a thing as moon coal. There's no carbon life up there. Once gave a pickaxe fortune and silk touch. That is a move of all time, Beer Fox. That's a feels bad man .jpg moment. Those blue blocks remind me of a Flash game I played as a child. All Flash games are old now. I think if you ever make that mistake again, I think you have to hang it in a glowing item frame. Flash is a dangerous format. In many ways, yes. In so many ways. Look at all that copper. Look at all those chickens. Okay, the problem with having a light source in my hand is I don't realize how dark it's getting and I forget to put torches. I almost fell to my death. At my work, I had to partition on your computer specifically to run Flash to access one vendor's portal. Luckily, that vendor has updated their programming. I'm sorry, the vendor was still using Flash? In the 2020s? In 2019, oh my goodness. Didn't they get the memo that Flash was literally dying? And with it, our childhood. Websites like Homestar Runner, just gone forever. Napa Auto Parts. Wow. Well, I don't shop for car parts that often, but I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Anytime auto parts stores come up, I am reminded of a time in seminary. We were doing like a group project in class, so not like a super involved thing, but you know, it's like a 2-hour class that we had to work on it, and it was a case study of like building up the advertising for a parish or something like that. And one guy's mind just immediately went to the fact that we should have a jingle, and he proceeded to sing every single car parts store's jingle. And it's like, okay, well that's nice, but we have other priorities? Maybe the jingle isn't the first thing you work on. I explained Numa Numa to an adult recently. Oh. An adult was too young to know it. Made me feel old. Okay, now that we have actual blocks placed, we can line these ones up. And is there a lava spot nearby? I forget. There used to be. The church was actually built over a lava pool on its north wing here. Ah, this'll do. We must throw the coal into the fires of Mordor. You got ye shameful fake pieces. I feel like that's good progress for today. Especially considering we were planning on doing Minecraft. Make a dropper setup that just throws items into a lava block. So I have actually back in the main base under the door, there is a spot where I've done a garbage chute design. You just do like a floating half slab over a pit of lava, and you can chuck things in really safely because you can't walk in. But I thought that was funny and dramatic, so yeah. I think that's where we're gonna call it for the day. A little bit earlier, but I have Reconciliation Monday to be getting ready for. So that's my excuse. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow as we do Spirituality Tuesday. Got a special Christmas-themed thing idea in store for that, so come on by for that. Wednesday, this is special. Please, this is a schedule change. Wednesday, I have my Busted Halo staff lunch, which is always super awesome and fun for Christmas. It takes up the entire afternoon, basically. So there will be no stream Wednesday afternoon, but there will be a stream Wednesday morning. I will be streaming 9:30-ish Wednesday morning. The exact time to be determined. Just keep your eyes out for the announcements, I guess. And that will be normal midweek Minecraft. And then Thursday, for Throwback Thursday, we'll do, since we didn't get to do it last week, we will do one Pajama Sam game and one Freddy Fish game. So that way we still get all three of the major ones covered. And then next week, no streams. I'm away on vacation. I'm going to enjoy it, but I will miss y'all. And then the week after that, there will be one stream on Monday. So on the 30th, there will be one stream on Monday. That will be a Minecraft stream. because I don't want to start the other thing until the new year, Kingdom Hearts. And then I won't be streaming again until the 13th of January because I'm going back to Salt Lake City for a conference, Seek. And then as it's in Salt Lake City this year, I will be visiting my family. So staying a few extra days. So I might maybe have an extra day stream from there, but probably not. So it's about 3 weeks where I won't be streaming except for one day. So sorry about that. It's the way fates have aligned. But we'll be back in the new year, fresh, ready to go with a lot of exciting new stuff, and we're still got all of this week. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, checked out the YouTube, the Discord, all that good jazz. And why don't we see who's live that we can raid into? Are you saying you're taking a bunch of Seek days? Anyway. Anyway, I'm going to send you on over to KMax. He's part of the Catholic Raid Train that's going on this past weekend, couple of days. So we're just going to link up with that, and then keep on with the train to Churro after that. So hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Spirituality Tuesday. Take care. God bless.